payload or the bomb very precisely on target, something which horizontal bombing cannot do, could not do, or throughout World War II. It went through a series of modifications and variants. Some of the later ones were designed to be used as ground support airplanes and actually had huge cannons mounted to the wings. There was even an attempt to make it a retractable gear airplane, and one that was to be used from a carrier. But the Germans really didn't have any carriers to speak of. Their Navy was made up of battleships and submarines primarily. The Stuka would have flown in Europe, in Russia, and in North Africa. And I believe this paint scheme is one that would have been used during the North African campaigns as camouflage during desert operations. There you see the bottom of the airplane is painted a sky blue to help camouflage it against the sky from down below. Now when the Stuka dropped its payload, it could go into a dive vertically at 90 degrees. And it had dive brakes. So the top speed in the dive was about 325 miles an hour, but the pullout was the tough part because that's where you'd exert an awful lot of G-forces on the pilot. So they developed a mechanism to slow the airplane out of the dive in case the pilot blacked out. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. A fairly short-range airplane. To a 1,200 horsepower, I believe, Mercedes engine, and increased the range from about 300 miles to about 700 miles. But it still had a fairly short operating range. Now, if you have a range of 700 miles or so, that means you can fly out from the base 350 miles, and then you got to fly back. Some of the Stukas were equipped with sirens on the landing gear legs. And when the pilots turned those on, they called them the Jericho horns. And it was used as a psychological thing for the people on the ground. So you can imagine how you might feel if you saw Stukas overhead and heard the sirens go. There's a very famous painting done years ago by Pablo Picasso called Guernica. And it was a tribute to the bombing of this Spanish town Guernica by Stukas and Henkel German bombers. And within about half an hour, over 1,500 people were killed. And that was 1936. So the worth of the Stuka and its value as a psychological and precision bombing airplane is pretty well established there. Stuka carried a crew of two. You had the pilot, and you had a rear-facing gunner. Honestly, because the Stuka was not a high-speed airplane, they were very often sitting ducks for the Allied fighters like the P-3 the R1 Racer, which competed in Goodyear, Bendix, and Goodyear races and the Bendix Trophy races in the 1930s. Jimmy Doolittle, I think, set a record in GB. One of the races. And right to left, we've got the big Stinson Reliant. This airplane is being flown by Roger Nylet. Roger's here also as a representative of High Tech Radios, one of our sponsors today. The big Stinson is done up in Royal Canadian Air Force markings. And that particular airplane is modeled after one that has been used for things like advanced instrument training, sub-spotting. Dave hasn't had enough fun yet, so the Stuka's in the air again. It looks like the Stinson's on the final. And we might call that a bounce and go. Do we have a pilot come by on a pass and do a wing wave?
Yes, sir.
There you go. There you go, Roger Nylet just did a wing wave for the big Stinson. And GB. I guess this is what we call interactive flying here.